Okay, now we are on Facebook. Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyanamita Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 39 by Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima. Tonight we are going to discuss the 14th section of Sigālovāda Sutta. Sigālovāda Sutta is the fourth sutta from the total of 10 suttas that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, kindly check on the previous videos on Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Klang Facebook page and YouTube channel. The Sutta discussion Zoom class is still open. Therefore, whoever that wish to join the class where we can engage directly with Bhante can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Klang's Facebook Messenger. We are welcoming newcomers. Now, please allow me to introduce about our speaker. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima currently is the Senior Advisor at Ti-Ratana Canada, a virtual Dhamma organization that helps beginners as well as expert students in learning Dhamma in a variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Ti-Ratana's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on regular basis. You can check on Ti-Ratana with the link www.ti-ratana.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima earned his PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 till 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante and thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana, for the introduction again. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Sutta discussion day 39. So, yeah, it's been almost 9 months we started off this discussion, and we started with a very simple sutta. If you could remember, Mahamangala Sutta, right? It's about how to create blessings. Like normally people might think that we go to a temple and then get the blessings. Yeah, that's a beautiful way of getting blessings too. But in the Mangala Sutta, what we see is that we need to create blessings. Like there's a responsibility on our behalf, right? So that's how we started off, and then we've been doing. I guess is today the last day of our discussion for this year? No, it's going to be one more day, 30th of this month. We can conduct our session 30th too, so we can have a very beautiful start for the next year. Okay, so that's how we've been doing, and then we've been doing from Mangala Sutta to Ratana Sutta, and we did Metta Sutta too, and then what else? We've been doing Sigālovāda Sutta since then. Sigālovāda Sutta, it's a long sutta, but it has very interesting Dhamma point, especially that are really important, practical to our lives. That's why we've been doing. So before all that, we're going to pay respect to the Buddha, and then we will continue from there. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. So we have Aliana, Lim, Sadhris, Kim. Today we have Kelvin in person over here, right? Normally you've been watching from other platforms like YouTube, Facebook. I overheard that. So anyways, I was just opening this and I opened. So anyways, so the message seems to have gone to you. And then, yeah, it's good. And we have service, and I don't know, probably somebody or a couple more might be joining as we proceed. Okay, so let's jump into the topic right away from this point onwards. So because we have Kelvin today, so I just wanted to sort of summarize, probably recap a little bit. So in the Sigālovāda Sutta, what we learn is that how to, the idea, especially in regard of responsibilities, is that how to stop fears that come from different directions. Paticchāda, right? So fears arise when we do not fulfill our responsibilities. If you are a parent, if you are a child, if you are a teacher, if you are a student, spouse, friend, colleague, employer, employee, whoever in this bunch of relationships, if you do not fulfill your relationships, so different fears arise towards you, right? So then that's what we're going to minimize, probably get rid of all that way before it can start off. So we've been discussing Sigālovāda Sutta in terms of its background story. And then we identified 6 ways of squandering money, right? We did all that. If you watch our previous talks, you'll see we discussed 6 ways of squandering money. That means money is an important factor. A lot of people who misconstrue Buddhism say money is not important. If money is not important, why did the Buddha say you have to stop squandering money, right? Now, if you see on internet, people say money is not important, the qualities are more. Yeah, it is. Qualities are more important, but we need money too, right? Because if you are poor, you have certain bad experiences. That doesn't mean that you should be a rich person. Saying you need some sort of money to live, to survive, right? That's why the Buddha said, even if you have some sort of money, regardless of how much money you have, you need to manage your finances to the best of you. That is why the Buddha said 6 ways that you need to, 6 bad ways to stop, so that you are managing your finances. It's a very relevant topic in this 21st century. It's not like the Buddha's time. Buddha's time, the money was the gold, diamond, silver, right? All they were materials. So people carried tons of gold. That was their money, right? Buddha didn't see a cash flow. Buddha didn't see paper bills. Buddha didn't see credit cards at all, right? So at that time it was materials, right? So people, when you see somebody who is a rich banker, that means he should have a stock of a lot of gold, diamonds, silver, like Anatha Pindika, and so forth. And then we came down to friends. We discussed 4 bad friends, and then we discussed 4 good friends. After that, I think a week or 2 ago, we started off the responsibility. This is the coolest part in this sutta. So these responsibilities were given in direction. Somebody might ask, why? What's the connection of direction to responsibilities? The main connection, the main idea, the primary idea behind the direction is that the Buddha says, locating people. If you are the central focus of of a circle, then you have directions all over, on all directions. So you have to think that, regard that, from different directions, there are fears available. Only if you do not fulfill those responsibilities. Let's say, now in the commentary, it says that if you do not fulfill your responsibilities for your parents, then that means you have a fear. Let's say your children do not fulfill their responsibilities, then there is the same fear in other direction. So fears are arising. So when fears are arisen, then that means that society is stressed out, laid back, and then very depressed. Right? If you look at, I'm saying that what's happening, in our circles, probably like on news, probably in your friend circles, you get to hear when how things go wrong when children do not take care of their parents, when spouses do not take care of, so on and so forth, right? So fears arisen, and then there are repercussions to that. Okay, so direction is taken because it shows us fears. That means when you are not fulfilling those responsibilities, fears are arising. So we discussed the first set. That means we started off by discussing parents and children relationship, right? That was what we discussed last week. So who did we discuss last week? Whose responsibilities did we discuss last week? Children's responsibilities toward their parents. This is what we discussed the other day. So can I know from somebody who learned this, what these responsibilities were? That you could say, if you are a child, definitely you are a child. You might have parents probably living now, even though they passed away. What are the responsibilities are you supposed to fulfill for your parents, living or dead? So we discussed 5 responsibilities. Can anyone name what they are?
Varisami.
Yeah. Probably you could say in English, just to cut it short. First responsibility, what does it mean?
Support. Give them support.
Give them
Support.
Is it give them support? Give them support or nourish them? To nurture or nourish them? What's the first one? To nurture or nourish them, to take care of them. Then only you go to support them, right? If you don't nurture or nourish them, how are you going to support them? They are not living anymore. So first is to take care of them, I would say, basically nurture, nourish them. Second, as you said, Kim, support their activities. Probably they need support. Probably they are disabled. Probably they need somebody to, do their groceries, right? This is interesting, right? Groceries, give them a ride. They can't drive anymore, right? Probably you're gonna pick up their prescriptions, medication from the pharmacy, right? A lot of things happening because they're gonna be not mobile anymore. They're gonna be sort of ridden to a certain place. That's the second responsibility. Third responsibility.
Carry on the tradition.
Carry on the traditions. What traditions? When you say tradition, it's a bigger field, right? Traditions. What traditions do we have to, carry on? I would say. Sadhuris, any thoughts? I saw a big smile on you. Probably you may have an answer.
I think the good values the parents have taught us.
Great. That's perfect. Good values, right? Good values. So that means somebody might say, this is my culture, like my XYZ cultures, I'm going to continue. It's not the culture in that sense. It's what we call by what my mom and dad taught me, right? In the form of, guidance, good stuff, habits, right? I don't think no mother, father can teach us bad stuff, except a very small, I would say, number. But rest of the parents, they are really keen on teaching their kids, don't do this. If they really know, sometimes parents are not very educated, they might not know how to do it. But I think most of the parents, they are really expecting their kids to learn good habits, right? Good stuff. So then you are already taught what they were, and then you're going to carry on, all the way. Then the fourth responsibility,
Donations.
Take
Making
care of the inheritance.
inheritance. Now come to a different part. Dayajan. Does it mean that we all got inheritance from our parents? What does it mean? Let's say you have a family of like 12 people. Do you think your mother, father can share all whatever they had among all these people? Kids? Probably not. Probably yes. But whatever the thing that you got from your parents, right? Probably you got a jewelry, you got some probably something else. You think that it has a sentimental value, right? Because my mom gave it to me, my father gave it to me. So you think to yourself that I need to keep it. So you're gonna maintain what you got from your parents. Could this be grandparents too? Because some families, they have some issues with probably their mother passed away. So a grandparent might have took care of them, right? So it could be other way around too. Okay, the last responsibility of children to parents. What is it? Very interesting one.
Make dana. Do dana.
Dana. Is it the correct way to say that? Make dana.
Do
How
dana.
do we frame it? Yeah, it's not about dana actually. It's not exactly about dana. What does it mean actually? Atachapana petana katana dakkinana prasati. That means when our parents passed away, we are supposed to give merits to them. Merits can come from different ways. Dana is one way, offering food. Definitely dana is the first one we're gonna do. But are there other ways too? Yeah, you're gonna volunteer, you're gonna give your knowledge to somebody, you're gonna take precepts, you're going to give Dhamma talk, you're gonna write a book, all make good karma. Every time you make good karma, you think about your parents. May all these good karmas go to my mother, go to my father. Dana is the first one, Kim. No choice, there's no problem. But with dana, because you can't do dana every day, right? Every moment. Food offerings, you can't do that because you have to plan it, you have to arrange it, schedule it. The monk should be available, right? It's a big process sometimes, right? So with that, there are many other ways of creating good karma. So all the good karma. If you even light a candle in your house, you're thinking, may this candle, may the light of this candle dispel the darkness of ignorance, right? You are thinking of that way. And you're thinking, what kind of darkness? This ignorance. If my mom, dad had not attained different attainments, I'm thinking that may this light help them to understand the Four Noble Truths, attain Nibbana. So, there are different ways of thinking how we can support when they pass away. It's not only one way, but definitely dana is our what do you call, our initial thing to do. With dana, we have lots of other things to do. But anyways, the idea is merit transference to your dead parents. That's the way of saying merit transfer or transference of merits to your parents. Okay, so these are the 5 responsibilities that we children are supposed to fulfill. And we also discuss about some of the complications that may affect some people in this society because they may have some issues with their parents or whatever. But what I was trying to say on that day was that try to minimize issues and then fulfill your responsibilities, right? On whatever the condition, you might think that I can't do it, but regardless of you can't or you can, the thing is that you are supposed to as much as you can. Okay, so we will now move on to the responsibilities of parents towards children. It's pretty interesting. So it's going to be in the second paragraph under 13 of Pali, so the central. So who would like to read? Kelvin, do you have the Pali text with you?
Yes, I have it online, but I can't find that second paragraph.
Yeah, this is how I'm going to say. Follow number 13. Go to number 13.
Okay.
You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13. Chaddisa Patichadana.
Yep,
Okay.
correct.
In that, you can go to second paragraph.
The
So,
Panchahiko.
yeah, but we did it to some extent to the level, to the place of the children's responsibilities.
Okay.
Can you read from, let me see that.
Papa Nivarenti.
Yeah, that's the place.
Okay.
But I think before that, there is another sentence going on.
Imehiko.
Yeah, Imehiko Gahapati Buddha.
Okay. So it says Imehiko Gahapati Buddha Panchahi Tanehi Putena Puratima Disa Mata Pitaro Pochupatita Panchahi Tanehi Putam Anukampanti. Papa Nivarenti Kalyane Nive Senti Sipam Sika Penti Patirupena Darena Samyo Jenti Samae Dayajam Niyadenti Imehiko Gahapati Puta Panchahi Tanehi Putena Puratima Disa Mata Pitaro Pachu Patita Imehi Panchehi Tanehi Putam Anukampanti Ewa Masa Esa Puratima Disa Pati Chana Hoti Kema Apatibaya.
Okay, great. Okay. So who would like to read the English translation of books? Yeah. Kim, you going to read? Yeah. In English, I guess this is going to be second part of 28, right?
Yeah. Okay. And the mother and father so respected reciprocate with compassion in 5 ways: by restraining you from wrongdoing, guiding you towards good actions, training you in a profession, supporting the choice of a suitable spouse, and in due time, handing over the inheritance. In this way, the eastern direction is protected and made peaceful and secure.
Great. Okay, so let's get started from here. Papa Niva. Now, before we discuss about children's responsibilities towards parents, when you've done such responsibilities properly, it says that you have been very compassionate towards your parents, right? See, puttang anukam, tanehi puttang anukampa. Imehiko Gahapati Putta Panchahi Tanehi, 5 places. Puttena Purattima Disa Mata Pitaru. Pachupattita. Panchahi Tanehi Putta Anukampanti. Okay. So as children, you have been very compassionate towards your parents in 5 ways. This is what we discussed before. Now, the opposite. Papa Nivarens. First responsibility that a parent is to do towards their children is Papa Nivarens. What is Papa? What is Papa? Basically,
Bad or
Papa
wrong?
means, yeah, good and bad. But this good and bad is a complex topic, right? What is good and bad to somebody might be not what is good and bad to somebody else. But we have what you call conventional way of accepting good and bad. What are the 5 precepts? So 5 precepts are universally accepted in any religion. I think no religion talks about killing other beings. No religion talks about stealing. Is okay. No religion talks about misbehaving, it's okay. No religion talks about lying is okay. No religion talks about, being alcoholic is okay in different ways, right? So it's a very common shared list of, I would say, good stuff. But as Buddhists, we are going further. So we basically say 10 kusala and 10 akusala. So we teach our kids as a parents, you teach your kids not to break akusala, not to break kusalas. That means you are helping them create akusala. That's bad. So you have to always teach them what is kusala and what is akusala. Have your parents done that to you, some folks? They are supposed to do it. But, depending on their time, there may have been some delays. There may have been some misunderstandings. So don't worry. Don't think bad about your parents, because they were living at a time not developed like your time, right? So we are very compassionate towards them. But at least they trying to tell us something, teach us something. So we are respecting what they taught us, right? So the first thing is, as a parent, your first responsibility is not to send them to a school, not to send them to higher education. First responsibility as a parent is to teach them what is bad and how to get out of those bad stuff, how to get away from those bad, how to keep away from those bad stuff. That's the first thing, right? Second, kalyane nivesen. If you keep your child away from bad stuff, then you have to give them some space for something else, right? Right? If you tell your kid not to eat junk food, then you have to give good food, right? Is it correct? But they don't eat this junk food, eat good food then. Then give me some good food, right? Your child might be asking you. Then that means if you are preventing him or her to do bad stuff, then give them the good stuff, right? What are the good stuff here? The opposite of the dasa kusala, 10 kusala. I think, Aliana, we already shared 10 kusala and akusala, right? Probably we can reshare again after this, so they can again sort of, develop their knowledge of what they are. So as a parent, the first responsibility towards your children is to keep them away from the akusala, 10 akusala. And then the second responsibility to establish or motivate, help them continue the practice of 10 kusala. Now you might feel, how do I do that? Some of the factors are a little deeper than, but even we as adults, we can understand it. You might think that way. No, you just give them the basic knowledge. Right? Give them the basic knowledge of what they are. You can't teach them everything, right? Right? Let's say there's a company that are producing televisions, right? So they are creating the hardware and software part. So do you think all the consumers should need to know all the hardware and software of the TV? Or they just need the basic knowledge to operate the TV? Huh? They just need the basic knowledge, how to turn it on, how to turn it off, how to switch to different channels, right? How to turn up and down the volume, all those basic stuff. In the same way, we don't need to teach them all the deeper Dhamma stuff that is unnecessary, irrelevant, right? We just have to give them the basic knowledge, just a structure of 10 kusala and 10 akusala, so they will understand. That's the second responsibility. Any questions about these two before we proceed? Not at the moment, but questions are coming up. They are coming up. Okay, third responsibility, what it is? Sippam Sikha, give them a proper education. It's called proper education. In English, we said, as Kim read, guiding, training you in a profession. That's interesting, that translation. But although this is not a profession, but Sippam means basically an education, good education, but that education should lead to a profession, right? I think it's a very important thing, not the fact that they are supposed to study or you are supposed to teach them or send them to a school, but you have to always understand your children, skills, abilities. Don't push them just because you are not a doctor. Don't push them to be a doctor. So you are trying to, sort of fulfill your self-esteem. They might not be good at being doctors, and they will get stuck in their education, right? So first discuss with your child, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Probably it might be changed. You can discuss, having a very friendly discussion, right? And always have an open discussion about it, because you are trying to handle somebody's future. Because when you pass away, this person has to live, right? After that, you may be gone at that point. So this education has to be decided based on the abilities of your children. You have to particularly do a good analysis and then send them to the right, proper place. Not just because you want to be, but always check with the abilities of your children. This is not just a school, normal school. This might be university, college, and learn for a profession. And it's a right as proved by I think UNICEF, not UNICEF, UN, I guess. Under UN, every child has to be sent to school to study, right? It's not even a responsibility. It's a right of children. The fourth responsibility is patirupena darena sanyojitya. Interesting, huh? Whose responsibility is children's marriage? Is it their responsibility? Like in the West, they don't bother, right? Parents do not bother. If you want to marry, go marry. If you want to be as common law, just go for that. We don't care about it. But we will be there for you. But in the Eastern way, like how we understand here, is that marriage is a responsibility of parents too, right? Probably Buddha is talking this from the Indian background. So we have to be careful in teaching this to modern day people. Otherwise, children, your children, they might be misunderstood. Why do I have to put their fingers into us? If I want to marry, I'm going to go for her or him, right? Right? But what does it mean? This means patirupena darena sanya. At that time, children were not very good enough in understanding the other person, especially go for a relationship. So in the commentary it says, children do not have a proper knowledge of Kula, Sila, Rupa. Probably they have Rupa. Kula means family lineage. Sila means morality. Rupa means the beauty. Anurupeta, that means Anurupena, that means the other person that the parents are going to match to their child has to be in consistence with Kula, family, a good family, Sila, morality, and then the beauty. Right? Isn't it interesting? It's interesting because in today's world, I think there is a discussion about morality and then the beauty. But the Kula means a good family background is something that the community talks about, because when you are married, when your children are married, then there will be some issues because you are giving your child to a family. What's her name, Kim?
Erin.
Erin, no?
Erin, say hello. Say hello. Hello. She calls you Buddha.
Okay.
She calls you the Buddha.
Nice to see.
I always
Okay,
I'm attending the Buddha's class.
Okay. Right. That's a good way of saying it. So the person that the parents are going to look for their children should have good family lineage. That doesn't mean a caste. That means somebody who has a good family customs, who is responsible to take care of the family, who's respectful their elders, right? And then should have some morality. We can't say that they should be arahants or sotapannas, but at least they have some good moral stuff. And then the beauty. So these three is a combination. That's the third responsibility. So let's talk about that a little bit. Patirupena dharena sanyoja. Patirupena, that means proper. So giving your child to somebody who is proper to your child, right? But when we look at it once again in today's world, we may have some exceptions. So don't take it in the same way how we see in here, because Buddha did not talk to 21st century, especially the societal stuff, social stuff, but the Dhamma. Here, what I understand is that I think children still need some parents' suggestions, probably parents' thoughts when they are looking for a person, because parents are more mature than them, not in many ways. They might say our love is greater than your love, but but the idea is that experiences, right, around people, right? So they have better experiences. That's why some parents say, boy, I pass your time, right? I pass your time, uncle. I pass your time, right? I know what you think, right? So, anyways, so parents, assistance for children, for that is also a responsibility. What do we think about then somebody who is not married? A good question. There are some children who probably didn't get the right person. So I think parents are worried about such people, right? Because my child, I don't know what's going to happen to him or her when we pass away. It's kind of a burden sometimes. But there are certain exceptions, I would say, places where children are not getting married. So we have to look at it compassionately, not saying anything bad about them, but parents are trying their best to help them. The fifth responsibility is, what is it? Samaye dayachang niyade. Samaye means according to the time, proper time. Dayachang, inheritance. Niyadenti, have to give away. Now the commentary explains this in a couple ways. It says this samaya, the time is twofold. One is Nitya Samaya, the other one is Kala Samaya. Let me type that for you here. Samaya has two parts. Say Nitya and Kala. I hope you got it. Okay, so Nitya, Samaya means time, right? But Kala also time, but it denotes a different time. Samaya means, so now it is said that parents are supposed to give away their inheritance at the proper time. Now, the proper time is twofold. Samaya, it is, not nice. Everything should be nice, but it should be Nitya. This automatic spellings came out. Nitya and Kala. So what is Nitya time? Nitya time means parents are giving away some expenses while they are living. They are giving away some money, some wealth to their children while they are living. For what kind of causes? They might be giving to their children money, other wealth, to do some kusala, do some business, right? It can happen, especially such expenses. Kala Samaya means when parents are giving money or other things while their children are getting married. Now, this is the biggest inheritance. Like, let's say, in Asia, especially in South Asian cultures, it is a norm that when you have a daughter, you have to give dowry towards that family. When you have a daughter, when you are giving away that daughter, giving her to a man, you have to give some property or some furniture or kind of stuff. So it's kind of a norm here in the South Asian culture. I don't know about other cultures. So that dowry idea. But unfortunately, when the husbands don't get enough dowries, though, they are making it a big problem after they are getting married. You know what? Even though I got you, but see, I didn't get anything which I understood in my culture. There will be some big arguments. But in today's world, I think expecting dowry is not a good idea, because nobody should depend on other people's money, other people's stuff. We have to be self-sufficient. That is our idea. But here the commentary is always talking about the Indian culture. In Indian culture at that time, it's a man-based culture. So the man is the one who brings money. But if woman also brought money, I think these ideas could have been a little different. So woman is somebody who is managing the money and then managing the household. Only man goes out, bring money out there. That's why these complications can exist. But still we can find out time. If you are a parent, you are giving away money while you are alive for businesses, for doing good stuff, kusala charity stuff. And also you are giving away certain money stuff when your children are getting married or certain occasions. And there is also another inheritance. That is what we discuss in children's responsibility. When you pass away, you should be able to finish giving away the proper share of your wealth. I think some people, they pass away leaving a big mess. So the children are, they're going to be really, mad among each other, and then, competing for the same property that their parents had. So that's why before you pass away, you should be able to properly, legally solve the issues and then pass. So you know that things are proper, things are okay. And this is what the modern insurance companies do. Beneficiaries, right? Beneficiaries. So there's a beneficiary, right? So beneficiary cannot take it, right? But sometimes when you name a beneficiary, they are eyeing on you. It's another problem also, right? You are not telling them you are the beneficiary, right? So there are certain practical issues too, but you have to minimize the safety problems. But it is always good to make clear what is happening to your wealth, money, property, inheritance that you have when you pass away without making it a problem. So here we have Nitya Samaya, Kal Samaya. That means there are essential expenses that you are giving to your children, and then there are time-based expenses that you are giving to your children. Okay, so these are the 5 responsibilities that as a parent you are supposed to do for your children. If you have any questions, you can raise at this point. These 5. I know it may be pretty clear, but I like you to think differently about these 5 in the modern context, Because the modern context might be a little different. How children, how parents go through these 5 could be a little different, probably a little complicated, because not everyone's life is going through very smooth, right? So the ways and means how they take these 5 could be a little different than the mainstream folks out there. Any comments, Saviris? No comments?
No comments, but
No comments.
you ask me, I can tell you, a lot of them don't follow anymore. They make their own decision. They don't even want to agree to anything. They don't want even the parents' advices sometimes, because they want to run free. They want to do it their way. If we try to talk to them and tell them this is no good, this person, you see, the background is no good, they say, I'm marrying her, so you don't have to worry about that. It's my issue. So sometimes you can't do anything about it.
That's what I was trying to say, that there are some certain conflicts that can happen, compared to these, responsibilities. Like if you think that, even if you are to think that I'm a parent, I have to teach my kids this and that, but kids can think this stuff a little differently. So we have to understand how to do our role in a changing world, especially in a world where kids have different attitudes. But probably this is something that we may not understand their attitudes well. Probably they are too stubborn to understand what it is. Calling that our parents, they are in what you call old school, and we are in new school, so we know what it is, right? They don't know what we are dealing with, right? So there are some clashes. I think the best thing is not to create a gap between them and you a lot. I know that there should be a kind of a fine line between you and them. We don't actually keep a friendship that is overly close with them, because you need to have your boundary. But at the same time, you are trying to be friendly, not like keeping a gap so that they are not going to be open up for you. That's one thing. But I think it's little harder for many, because their attitudes could be different too, right? But anyways, if someone could interact with them in a better way, that should be the proper platform to guide them for akusala, ukusala, and all that. I think there are some children who are going well with this, but there may be many more who might not. So it depends on the parents and the attitudes, especially the household, how they have been interacting each other. Many things affect.
No matter how much we talk to them and tell them, their influence outside is much greater, at times, you see.
Yeah, environment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't need to be outside. Yeah, outside world actually is not outside the household. Now through the computer, they are entering into a infinite universe, right? They hear everything what is happening on the other side of the world. But the thing is that it is not because of how much information that they are having. I think the compassion and then the connectedness, sense of belonging, these are very important to create. Probably, Sabris, I sometimes think, not in your case, I sometimes think the way how parents have been interacting with their children long time ago, probably a couple decades ago, might need some, revisiting the ways and means how they have been. Probably, I'm not saying should or must, because at that time, I think children were like, okay, what you gonna say to me? I'm gonna do all that, That mentality is going out because the knowledge is very common. They see the world and they see many things. They see the comparison, right? But there are some children who are going really bad. That too, we have to mention that too. But like the same idea, how are we going to teach Buddhism to young people in today's world? Do you think that they are coming to a temple and listen to a normal Dhamma talk? I don't think so. They say it doesn't make sense. This is what I know in many countries. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to what I understand. The problem is that probably the Dhamma speakers have to understand how things should work out for them. The result-oriented approach. Otherwise, they might think, oh, this is just my mom's stuff, my father's stuff. That's it. I just go and bow down and come back. So we have to change that. We have to tell them there is a different aspect too. There may be a different lay person or monk or whoever who can teach you things a little differently, right? So I think the approach may need some revisiting, but never ever lose the sense of belonging that you have with your kids, children. That is very important. If you have that, they will listen to you. They might not do anything wrong. But if you try to maintain that big gap, I don't think they're gonna laugh at all that. Probably. It's different. It's different. It's difficult, but still we can try different ways.
From what I see, sometimes it's the partner they're married to is the one who's doing the instigation and breaking up the family. There's always a lot of cases like either the man or the woman side, because they don't want to stay with their parents. Then the woman will start doing all nonsense so they can run free and do as they please. There's a lot of cases here, which I come across.
Respecting son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws, good ones, all the time in high esteem. I'm saying that there are cases like what you mentioned. I think it happens, Sadhris, because of some personal attitudes. I think some such people, they are very clingy, probably, manipulating people inside that household, right? These things can happen. So why do we think that our people are instigated? Why don't they have a brain to think what to do? Keeping the law and respecting the elders, right? So there are two ways, two sides, but there are cases like that, definitely. But there are others who are really good too. It depends.
Sure.
It depends actually. There are some son-in-laws, they're really good people, really caring, compassionate. Probably they are more caring than the son towards the husband's parents. There are such people too. So it depends. It's a very complicated topic, but I hope that there are good people too, but there are such people too. There are multiple reasons, probably environment, probably there are, sometimes, let's say, daughter-in-law or son-in-law had a very violent childhood, didn't get enough love, care. And when they found out somebody who's the opposite to their relationship, they become very clingy. They don't want to actually let him or her behave the way that they want. They're going to manipulate. You can't do that. And listen to me. Don't be very close to your mom and dad. These things happen because they have some issues in their childhood, probably their experiences. So there are multiple reasons. But multiple approaches to, if we think, to get better the situation. Kim, did you mention something here? I'm a bit lost on the mic. Kala part. Okay, let me say that again. Okay, so what we've been discussing about the Kala, Samaya, that means parents have to give away their inheritance at the right time. So this right time is twofold. Nicha, Kala. Nicha means as parents, you are supposed to give money, bear expenses of your children before you pass away, like when they need money, right? Especially in their young time, their study time. Kala Samaya means that there are time-specific occasions where, as a parent, you are supposed to give inheritance. That is true. Like, let's say dowry, probably some money, probably some your son wants to start a business, some capital, right? So something like that. Make sense? Yeah. Sadhru, it's very good that you brought that up. We have to see the complicated life, the true face of the life, not just, okay, everybody's taking care of their children or their parents. That's so sweet, but it's not happening all the time. Okay. Differently too, right?
Yeah, it's true, because at one time I was near the mosque where all the Malays are all waiting for prayers. They're talking and talking and talking about it. Then I said, can you stop all for a while? Can I ask you a question? When is the last time you went and visit your mother? Oh, they get a shock. They say, oh, this is a very good topic. Because I know there's a lot of cases that they only once a year on a certain occasion they go. But other than that, they never. So it's a wake-up call for them. Because I do approach these type of things, plenty issues, no? Because I can't see things which is not happening properly. I'll try to see whether I can correct them or maybe adjust the way of thinking and all that.
That is why we discuss in the Mangala Sutta, taking care of the parents is a blessing. It's a created blessing, right? So we have to create that blessing. There may be thousands of reasons for some children not to take care of them. Right?
Bhante, may I interrupt here? But it's actually a two-way thing, you know.
It's a two-way thing. Exactly.
Yeah. So it could be because due to some reasons why they are not giving the respects to the elderly or vice versa. So that is why that creates the this kind of thing to happen. Like Sadiri say, they only visit the parents once a year during special occasion. But why? There must be a reason for them not wanting to do it. It's not that they don't want to do it, but you know, it's
a two-way thing.
It's two-way. But if let's say you if they give you a lot of love and all that, I'm sure you like to visit them as often as you want, you know. But if they're so cold towards you, sure, why should I? I mean, this lay person, I'm talking.
So I hear your point. Like, it's a two-way thing. I understand, but still, as you said, there are some terrible cases that we should not forget about. Like what you bring up. So it'll really unfortunate, but sometimes you can't do much. But there are many disruptive relationships between parents and children where you can mend them by engaging with them. Like Kim said, it's a two-way thing. Sometimes parents are just staying there. So he's not calling me. She's not calling me. I took care of them. I sacrificed them. She's not calling today. She's not taking care of my things. Right? So expecting a lot. Probably you are not talking to them. Probably they are. You can do something for them. But they will talk to you. Right? For most cases, it's a two-way thing. But we should not forget about some extreme cases too. Like there are situations where I think children even hit their parents. We should not forget about these things, you know. So we have to. There are different reasons for. I'm not saying that they are okay. They are very bad. Because the Buddha said that if you do something like that to your mother, it's going to be one of the strongest bad karma, father and all that. Because so there are different ways to look at it.
Obviously, there's a two-way thing. But the problem here, no matter how bad is your parents, it's your responsibility. There's no two-way about it. Unless you want to break the rules. For me, I believe that way. No matter how bad, you must still go down and show your respect no matter what.
But if they knock the door, we have to open the door too, right? That's how it is. If you have, let's say somebody has children, but the parents are really difficult to associate. They are not really presentable to your children. But if they are trying to have a connection with their parents, they should be also willing to, open for the conversation. It really depends on the situations. So it depends. But they do have a responsibility more than their parents, because they should do it because
maybe they think of the past, what the parents did to them, when they were young, they always get beaten up and things like that. So when they grow up, they already have wings, you know, they can. Maybe I'm just thinking aloud this way.
Yeah,
Because when
that
I'm
is
young,
why.
helpless, I don't get the love, I don't get the help. But now I've grown up, I'm independent. So it's
Yeah.
like the revenge lah, you know. It normal in human being, revenge. But a lot of time as a Buddhist, you have to let go. You cannot take revenge. You know, you must not think of the past.
Yeah.
Move forward.
That's why we have to present the Buddhism in different ways to the young people, like letting go,
Yeah.
forgiveness. These are very, very interesting topics to everybody. Like I think if this is why we have to go beyond the cultural norms, actually, cultural Dhamma talks, right? We need them to. This is why we have lots of dialogues about we need to forgive no matter what they have done to us. We need to let go of the garbage that we had, because you can't change your past. You have only this short time to live, right? So I think these teachings are really helpful the young folks to think about, to heal from their wounds if they think there was a wound in their life, from whoever, parents or whoever, right? Yeah, so it has to be looked at from different ways. Yeah, I think sadhus, a lot of people think that in the same way as you said, no matter what, even parents are bad or good, they should approach, and then yeah, that's what we also expect. But parents also have a way to let them sort of come near to them, you know, to show them that okay, if you want, you can come and then help us, right? That open space should be there too.
Right.
Any other
Read.
thoughts? Kelvin, you have any thoughts?
I thought a lot already.
Okay.
I think from a race as a Chinese race as Chinese background, I think from those days, like you mentioned, we are being taught, like parents, if you do any that something that's not filial to your parents, you get struck by lightning, and things will happen to you. This sort of so-called customs, or you can call it this sort of like that moral standard, it's something that we need to propagate to the younger generation of how to treat your parents properly. Even like what Sadhirish mentioned, if you got parents who are not good to you, but you don't go all the way and make more problems for them. You can just either assist them whenever you can, or you can just try to make small talk, or just go on with your life lah, in a sense, like you mentioned, no sense of grasping things that have gone past, and this sort of things lah.
This is a lay person thinking. That's why we are all lay people. Am I right? I mean, we are not like Bhante.
Well, I think taking care of parents is a responsibility of everybody, even the Buddha's responsibility in a sense, because that's why he went to teach Abhidhamma to his mother. Yeah, so I think it's taking care of parents is a very big topic in Buddhist traditions, right?
Blessing.
It's a blessing, and also there are a lot of complications, issues around taking care. Like even the background story of Sigālovāda, it's also about taking care of parents, right? Right. So Sigāla's mother, father, they were all Sotapannas, but Sigāla did not go to a temple because he doesn't like to get closer to folks over there. We learn how he thought. He said, if I go to a temple, I have to sit on the floor, bow down, and then finally I have to talk to monks. So then I have to give dana, so I have to spend money. He's thinking like, in a way, he's losing stuff if I go to a temple, right? Think about what happened to Anathapindika. I think he's a very good example to these five parents' responsibilities. In the commentary, it says Anathapindika gave a bribe. He bribed his son. Remember? Kala. Why did he bribe his son? His son called Kala did not go to Jirnarama's temple to listen to Dhamma talks and then to help him out. So one day he thought, I should think a little smarter to get him involved. He said, okay. He called his son, Kala. What do you think if I give you 5 or 10, I don't know, some bucks, but on a condition? Say, what is it? You should go to the temple. Yeah, 5 or 10 bucks. It's good for me. So he went. And then the next day, then he asked, did you learn something in the discussion? No, I just sat down because I need money, right? You know that. Then he said, I'm going to give you this much money, I guess 500 or something. What you are supposed to do is you go there and listen to the Dhamma talk, learn one thing, one important thing of the Dhamma talk, and then tell me. Said, okay, yeah, 500 bucks. So he went in there, he listened to Dhamma talk, but the problem was on that day, the Dhamma talk was delivered by the Buddha. He knew he is trying to catch the first Dhamma point and then forget about all the other, ignore all the other Dhamma facts in the Dhamma talk. So he thought to himself, the Buddha, let Kala not remember one Dhamma thing. Let Kala learn the whole Dhamma talk. So he made a resolution. The Buddha made a resolution in his mind. So anyway, so Dhamma talk was finished. In the following day, the Buddha went to Anathapindika's house. And then now the Buddha and other monks, they were having their morning breakfast. After the breakfast, then Anathapindika was going to give the money now. He didn't know what happened. Okay, son, here's your 500 bucks. Then he said one stanza to the father. Patavya eka rajjena saggassa gamanenava sabba lokadipachena sotapatti palangva. Okay, more than Patavya eka rajjena, more than becoming the universal monarch, Chakravarti Raja, saggassa gamanenava, more than going to the heaven or whatever the heavens, 6 heavens. Sabba lokadipati, if I get the whole kingdom of this whole world, what I understand now is becoming a Sotapanna is better than all these. That means he already became a Sotapanna at the end of the Dhamma talk. As Buddha determined, let him not understand one Dhamma. So then the Buddha said, see what your father did, he was trying to bribe you, he already bribed you, then you became Sotapanna at the end. Right? So the commentary says, sometimes you may bribe to make somebody better, but don't bribe anybody. That's a bad topic in today's world, bribing. But your father, mother may think smart plans. You are a bad person if the child is not on the proper track, because they simply want to make them better. See, there are a lot of stories about how did parents take care of their kids. But see, sometimes children were very ungrateful. One good example, give me one good example in the Buddhist stories, Buddhist history. Ajasatta. You know who is? Who's Ajasatta? He was the son of King
Bimbisara.
Bimbisara. What did he do?
Kill his father.
He killed his father. What was the plan? Monk Devadatta attained some jhanas. He's not a normal monk. He thought, I want to become the Buddha. I have to find a good donor. So he approached Ajasatta. He was the prince at that time. He said, "You killed your father, I killed the Buddha, so we can do a good plan." You know. And then he went on his way, asking him. So then what happened? He finally killed his own father. It is said in the Suttas, King Bimbisara became a yakka, Janavasabha yakka after that. But anyways, the idea here is that when Bimbisara's wife is going to give birth to Ajasatta, the Brahmins said, "This guy is going to kill you. Abort him. He's not a good guy." That is why Ajasatta, enemy who is going to be born, delivered. Unborn enemy. Ajata Satta. Ajata means unborn, Satta means enemy. Your son is an enemy even before he was reborn. He was actually delivered. But he said, "No, I really love my son. I have the filial love towards him." Right? He gave everything to the son, but finally he was very ungrateful. Like the Sadhiri's point of view, sometimes this can happen. There are certain situations. It is said that they are still in the hells, apayas, suffering for what they have done. Right? And even, see, one good example of a point that Sadhiri's mentioned, there are issues coming from in-laws. Just imagine what happened to Mahamoggalan, Arahant Mahamoggalan. Why Arahant Mahamoggalan was beaten to death? He was the most powerful monk in the Gautama Buddha's order. It is said that he could go through even a small hole of a door. He just did that a couple times. But then he found out why the Tirthakas are actually trying to attacking my temple. Then he found out a bad karma he did in a previous life. What was the bad karma? My wife had been telling me, "Your parents are a problem. Get them away." And then I killed them because my wife told me. It's okay to love your wife unconditionally, but there are ethical things too. It is okay to love your man unconditionally, but there are ethical parameters too, right? He killed them. Even he became the most powerful monk after the Buddha. He had to suffer, right? So that's why we had to be very careful. So the bad karmas are actually chasing after us. Some bad karmas take time to, have effect, right?
Bhante, you mentioned that he's a monk, but he got married.
No. In a previous life.
Or brief.
In a previous life, he thought to himself, what happened to me? Then he understood in a previous life, he killed his mother and father just because his wife has been complaining to him about father and mother.
Okay.
So that bad karma has been coming. Yeah. I think the story is pretty new to all of you, right? Most of you. So that's why. So the same example, like you, as Sadhguru said, these in-laws sometimes making trouble. So I think the man, if it is a daughter-in-law, so man has brain to think about what to do. I want to protect mother, father, and my wife too, right? Not just only the wife. He should have the brain, not just it is the in-law that's making the problem. It's a good point, right?
Bhante, the blackmail works very strongly. Stronger than your mind.
Yeah.
No sleeping tonight, no cooking tonight, no happening tonight.
Okay.
You might lose it.
You sleep outside tonight.
Yeah. There are situations like that, but I think if we play our role at all times, we can get rid of many problems.
But
right.
But like what Bhante says, you must think of, you want to protect your parents, you also want to protect your wife. He must have the brain.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that, hey, 50%. No, I'm saying like that kind of a weird idea. I'm saying that we have to be smart. You have to be smart.
Yeah,
how to do it, right?
Mm.
Smart thinking can help anybody, if that were a man or a woman.
But Sadhiri says blackmail. So how?
Yeah, that he's talking about the length of how high is the clingy nature, right? Yeah, Sadris, go ahead.
The whole idea is we have to be firm ourselves, no matter whether it's a girl or woman or man, whatever we think is right, we have to try to be firm. And because especially for the mother, there's no two way we can compromise. Depends how we feel. We don't compromise with the parents.
Spot on.
Yeah, because what I hear from the society in Singapore saying that a man can be fined. It can be easily fined. A woman also can be easily fined, but you cannot find the parents. No matter what, the parents will never leave you. But this woman or the man can leave you anytime. Just because you're sick, maybe because you're handicapped, maybe you lost your job. But the parents, no matter what, they will stay with you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean every parents, but I'm talking in general, no?
Yeah. So both have to balance. Is a woman or a man, they have to balance their relationships. Yeah. So that the problem that comes from love is blind, I mean, well, I mean, you have to rethink about it, how to do it properly. Yeah. Yeah, I think there are a lot of good examples, but there are some bad examples too sometimes. Yeah. I hope the society will be a place where people are more aware and conscious about these things. Okay, any more questions before we go into the transference of merits? Lynn, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I feel that I think sometimes time is very important, especially in this busy world, especially for the parent, also for the children. How we spend the time for them, like the heart-to-heart talk, I think is the challenging for nowadays this world. And if we didn't talk them, I think the internet will talk to them and will change their mind very easy. So I also feel, I know how to talk, but sometimes I really hard to find the time for balance up. I mean, the parent and the children, I think it's just very hard. Yeah, that's all my sharing.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting point, something that a lot of people are juggling in today's world, because it's a matter that is arisen because of the busy life that people are supposed to live in today. So we can't deny that. And I think some people blame for Mother's Day, Father's Day. I think it's not good to blame, because it doesn't mean that you only look after your mother on a day. Only you look after your mom, the father on a particular day. I think it's a symbolic, day, right? In our Asian cultures, we don't do that, so we do it. But I think just because there is a day, we can't say even the Westerners also don't care of their parents. I myself have witnessed. It depends. It all depends. So it depends on the culture. But in what culture you are living, you are supposed to play a role in taking care of them. So if we do that, I think depending on the time, that should be okay. But the problem, Lim, is that how many parents do understand that their children don't have lots of time? Now, this is the other problem, because they might understand more. Okay, my child is so busy, she's so busy, so I have to understand it. I have to tolerate it. So that is up to them. I don't know how much can they do that. Some parents do. Some parents might not be able to do, who are very connected to them. All right. So, Aliana, you have any thoughts too?
Bhante, I think respects come in both ways. Sometimes they are, how to say? Sometimes their parents, they are thought that I sacrifice so much for my children, and then so I have a lot of, not just a lot, how to say? I think they have to respect that their children now already have their own family, and they have their capability to solve their own issue. So we as parents, we also have to give them some space and space for them to heal for themselves, cure everything for themselves. And we have to have a certain, how to say, boundaries. Not that everything that, because they are our children, then after they have their own family, we still go and interfere their family issue. If they ask the help from us, of course, we as the parents, we we help them 100%, of course. But I think, we have to have both sides of respect. That in that case, then we can get harmony within the family members. Not to, I mean, I try. I'm not just saying one part of the.
Aliana, I think this is a very good another perspective. Like, I think Sadhri's perspective is a very interesting one too. But this is another area that where many problems arise. I think this is related to Sigmund Freud's two concepts, Oedipus and Electrata complexes. It's a very old concept, but the idea is that some parents, they don't like to let go of their kids, even they are married. It's good if it is in a proper way, but let's say, take for instance mother, right? So mother doesn't like to, some moms don't like to accept that a woman can take care of my son, right? So you always put fingers into that family. If something happened, you don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. I know my son. This can happen to a daughter, on the other hand, from the father's one. So I think, as you said, so I think although we are supposed to, as parents, you are supposed to do it, but you create your own, parameters and boundaries, and then help. That is one way of minimizing problems, right? That is one very important aspect in today's household, especially your kids, children's marriages. That is one very important one. On the other hand, I still wanted to encourage to think about that Sadhri's perspective too. No matter what, children are supposed to look after their parents. So these are two very important sides to work on the both sides actually. But what is happening to most of us is what Aliana mentioned. This is happening in the modern households a lot, because parents are going to put their fingers at each point. So then there are issues because they have something to tell about everything that is happening in the household. So this happens to many in a way that parents are not able to live with their children's families because clashes happen, right? Because without understanding these limitations, boundaries, both sides. I hope that we all understand these things a little deeper, and then to make the situation much pleasant, better. All right, so let's get into our transference of bliss. May all the good karmas which we've been accumulating in all these ways be transferred to all the departed relatives, gnatis, passed away in the name of all of you. If the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of you were reborn in a place where they deal with lots of pain, may they be able to switch to a better place, reborn in a better place. If they are already in a comfortable place, may they be able to listen to more Dhamma, practice more Dhamma, and finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukita huntu jnatayu. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukita huntu jnatayu. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukita huntu jnatayu. Also, let's share all the good karmas with the Devas, Nagas, and all the Mahitikas. May all the Devas, Nagas, and Mahitikas share all these good karmas and be well and happy. At the same time, protect and bless all of you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and all the good things. And finally, may Devas, Nagas, and Mahitikas also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata ammehi sampatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva shirang rakkang tulukasasanang Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva shirang rakkang tulesanang Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva shirang rakkang tumang paranti. May we be in the company of the Kalyana Mittas, not with the Pavamittas, till we attain the Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to recite the stanza for aspiration. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu Yavanimbana Padmatiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating, collecting in all these ways, be helpful, supportive for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siris nichang baddha pachayino chattaru dhamma baddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balam Aivarugya sampatti sagga sampatti mevache ato nibbana sampatti iminati samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu. By the noble power of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, may all your sicknesses go away, may all your sufferings go away, may all your fears go away, may you all be safe and prosperous. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
So next Friday, we will be discussing the relationship called teachers and students. So there are 5-4 teachers, 5-4 students, whatever the teacher, whoever the teacher you are. And then that will be our last session for this year. So we're going to be starting back again after that, January. Okay. Thank you. So we're going to be turned off from Facebook.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Good night,
Thank you.
Bhante.
Have a good evening.
Good night, brother and sister. Thank you.
Good Bhante. Good night.
Good night.
Brother Dylan.
Thank you, Aliana, for all the things. You
Thank
are
you,
organizing
Bhante.
everything. Yeah, YouTube and everything. Messaging. Yeah.
Bhante.
Kelvin, we're gonna see you again. Yeah, if you have free time.